I've built a lot of tiny homes in The Sims 4. Let me tell you, it's been quite a few years and I have built a lot of tiny homes. But today we are building a tiny house on a rooftop of a city building in The Sims 4. Hello witches, it is Luca and welcome back to my channel. So in today's speed build, it's another tiny home. This one isn't a real tiny home, as in I couldn't make it a tiny home because this is a penthouse loft or penthouse lot. In San Myshuno, but I wanted to try out an idea that I actually saw on YouTube. I saw a little video tour. I didn't really watch the whole thing, but the idea behind it was that there was this rooftop tiny home in New York, and it was like a full house, but it was really small, and I just took that idea and kind of went with it myself. And the idea behind this is actually that this is for a couple of Sims that lives here. I just, for some reason, saw this as a gay couple. They're very athletic. They're very into living in the city. They ride bikes, the whole thing. They go to the gym every day. They're those kind of people. And I just thought, maybe they would want to live in a tiny home, and just a little bit of an alternative way of living like this. And honestly, it was really, really fun. I took full advantage of this rooftop because this rooftop is roughly 30 by 20. It isn't exact because the way that the top of the building is shaped, it's not like a perfect rectangle, but it's roughly 30 by 20 in dimensions. So I use this little narrower section here at the end to actually have the house placed, and then the rest of the lot is just a bunch of different things that they can do. You will see here I included a little building here for the the elevator. I also later on make this into a area for the mailbox, as well as a laundry. Maybe this is the building's laundry. I really don't know. I just thought it'd be kind of interesting to keep it separate from the house. But yeah, I kept it separate here, and I just thought it would be a little bit more fun this way, so that you would have to go through a door and you had to go outside to get inside. I can imagine that this house gets pretty cold probably. So just because they're up high and it's probably breezier up here, but I made it work. I think it looks really cool because I did some landscaping as well. Now, of course, you can't go full on with your landscaping on a penthouse lot because there's no ground to work with, clearly, but you can still place all the plants that you want. Thankfully, you just can't do terrain paint and all that stuff. So I just kept it as simple as I could. I used a fence to surround the area where the house is, just because I was in my head, I was maybe they want some more safety. It's a little bit not enough there, so they wanted something that was a proper wall. And I do include a bit the stuff for laundry. You can easily remove it if that's not your vibe, if that's not your gameplay. I just like adding that in because this is actually for my save file, and me, I like having laundry in my gameplay, honestly. So this is going to be for my save file, so I didn't really expect it to be, honestly, but once I finished building it, I could already see the characters in my head, and I was like, okay, yes, this definitely will fit in very well. I'm currently working on my save file, but I'm not really working on one specific world at the moment. I think I will kind of focus on one world if I kind of get an idea for something, but I haven't quite gotten there yet. I do have some ideas, but I want to kind of develop them a little bit more before I continue. But with San Myshuno, I thought it would be kind of fun to completely change it up and renovate all the apartments, and I was thinking of doing some micro apartments here and there. That would be kind of fun, actually taking the tool mod and adjusting different micro apartments, which you actually will probably already have seen one. I think it may be already on the channel, I'm pretty sure, but I did a little micro apartment. You can check that out. I'll leave it linked below, but I do plan on having those included in my save file as well, because I thought about it and I was like, that would be really cool for one of the buildings to have those two really long apartments be split into several different apartments. That way you could, maybe have 3 Sims and you can kind of go about their lives, but they're not really roommates. They're neighbors. I don't know. That'd be kind of a fun little storyline to do too. Maybe 2 Sims fall in love and they're neighbors, just all romantic. This little corner here that is next to the house, before I get too far into my rambling, this is actually an outdoor bathing area. In hindsight, I also should have probably included a shower on the inside bathroom, because there is a small bathroom on the inside, but I didn't put a shower. I could have easily put that. I should have done that. But because thinking about it, I was like, it might be kind of blustery cold coming out here during the winter time when it's really windy to take a shower. But, maybe that's just their thing. I don't know. I just think it was really fun. It's always fun to do an outdoor shower bathroom like kind of area anyways. I used the bathtub and the shower, like that standalone like shower from Snowy Escape. I thought that was kind of nice. It fit with the style of everything. And I used some curtains just because I thought, maybe they go over there to shower. Maybe they have people over or something and they just want to kind of close those curtains so that they can take a quick shower. But, they still have all that air from the wall fences there that I used from Eco Lifestyle. Those are really fun for like separating spaces, but like keeping it nice and open and airy. I can imagine like in the summertime when it's like really warm, this is perfect. Honestly, that would be so satisfying and so nice to do that. I don't know. Maybe I'm just that kind of person. This is where I also start working more on the landscaping. I had done a little bit already, but I was like, we need some more. We need to make it a little bit more lush. I didn't go overboard just because I thought, a lot of this is stuff that they've had to plant themselves and to tend themselves. So, obviously it gets to a point where it's just like, they don't, it's not realistic for them to have like flowers everywhere. I do add some more grass just to kind of add some texture and some like variance of everything, because it was just looking quite flat. And I was honestly struggling with the trees too, because in my head I was like, there's not going to be some really big trees here, because like that would be silly. Like a big tree growing on top of a thing, like they would need so much dirt and so much water. So I just did some small trees. And here I was just finishing up the landscaping with a few bits of grass. And honestly, I really like it. It's really nice. It's still really open and I feel like it's not too much, but it's still nice and just lush at the same time. I think the two Sims that live here are very athletic. So I put in a little basketball area over here. I was like, you know what? It's a rooftop. I just feel like it's screaming for a basketball court. And I didn't make a really big one. And to be fair, I could have oriented this a little bit differently, but I really liked how this looked in the end. I placed, just a simple basketball court, little lines. I don't know what sports ball is. You know me, I'm a queer witch. I don't know sports. I know baseball. That's one thing I will say, like off topic, but I know baseball a little bit. I played a little bit as a kid. I didn't really play, but like I knew how to play. But moving on, this little area here is a little grill area as well. I thought I would add a little like hangout space too. Honestly, something I should have added, but I didn't really want to because of the thumbnail and just the way that the screenshots were going to be. But I think for gameplay, it would be really fun to place some kind of awning over this section, maybe like a glass roof, or maybe a actual, those items from the toddler stuff pack, I'm pretty sure. They're like these like tarp bits that are like awnings. I don't know, but there's probably some things in The Sims 4 that I could have used to cover this area. But I really did like how open an area it was here, because I put these cafe lights or string lights or whatever you want to call them. But they're really, really nice. And honestly, I didn't plan on them fitting this well, but they did. They fit perfectly in so many spaces. So I also used some outdoor lighting from that outdoor kind of like security light from Outdoor Retreat. I really like that one. I've been using that for ever. Like, it's just something that I can just like place down and it kind of makes sense with a lot of places. This is definitely a huge tip to any new builders, is change the time of day to night and then do your lighting, so that you know that there's just enough lighting but not too much. Because the thing is with The Sims 4 is if it's all brightly lit, you'll be like, oh, I need to make sure there's lights everywhere so I can see everything. But honestly, for me, that's not really the vibe. I'm not a big fan of it. I do it for screenshots, for builds and stuff, so that I can actually like get everything in the picture. But to be honest, I don't like having lights everywhere in this game, because I feel like it just makes it really bright and really hard to look at. It's not very realistic either, because in real life, I don't do overhead lights. Like, overhead lights are so overrated. Like, we have overhead like recessed lights in our kitchen here at this house that I rent, and and they're nice because they're the kind of they're overhead lights, but they're not super bright, and they're warm, and so they're just enough to where it's not overwhelming. But the rest of the rooms in the house, we don't use our overhead lights except for if we're looking for something. We always have like a lamp on or something like that with like controls so that we can make it dimmer. Maybe it's a neurodivergent thing, I don't know, but basically it just makes it look nicer too. And you can do that in The Sims. If you do just want to jump into gameplay and change the color of the lights that way, or you can use the tool mod. The tool mod actually has an expanded thing. I don't know if it's the tool mod or the Better Build By mod. I think it's Better Build By actually. That has a option where you can shift click a light and you can change the color of the lighting and the dimness as well. It's really cool. Definitely check it out if you can. But if you don't have that, you can easily still change the color of the lighting in gameplay. You just have to have a sim on the lot, and you can hit play and then change the color of the lighting. I definitely recommend doing that because it changes the mood instantly, because you can make like a lamp like a color. Instead of it just being a simple white, you could do like a nice like orangey tone or something for like nighttime, so that your Sims can like go into their bedroom and it's like dimly lit and it's like calm and relaxing. Maybe they don't notice it, but you do. So it's all about the vibes. This home is pretty minimally furnished, I will say. I kept it pretty simple just because I was like in my head, I was like, okay, so these guys that live here, they're not really like super into having a lot of stuff. I didn't want it to be minimalist necessarily because I do think minimalism is a little overrated. It's silly. Getting rid of everything and just having literally nothing. Like for some people, it works really well, and honestly, good for them. Like I'm not shading people who are minimalists, but for me personally, I think minimalism can be a bit stark and a bit lifeless sometimes if you're not careful. And so I wanted to kind of have a minimal vibe, but it was still very like design heavy and very like nice in here. So in order to keep it like that, I used a lot of the same kind of like color palette. I used this like kind of warm orangey toned wood with a lot of white and black. And I think that made it look really like nice in here. And honestly, I feel like they're not home a lot. I feel like these guys, they're out and about, they're traveling, maybe they're going out to see things, maybe they are, maybe they travel for work, or maybe they're athletes, so they're not really home all that much. That would be a really fun bit of gameplay to explore in The Sims 4 because I honestly don't play a lot of like athletic Sims. I tend to kind of go towards the same like kind of gameplay all the time with my builds and my personal stuff. I tend to make like witchy artistic things, and I'm trying to get outside of that box because I feel like that can limit you. And I feel like this build is definitely a good like sign that I'm trying to do that. I placed the Murphy bed as well. I highly recommend, if you do play with this, replace that with a Murphy bed that you can get on the gallery. You can actually just search up Murphy bed upgraded or something like that, some kind of variance of that word, and you can get one that's actually fully upgraded, so you don't have to worry about your Sims dying, unless you have your Sims master the handiness, or they're really good at that. But I just do that just so that my Sims don't die. I didn't do it here. I honestly should have done it here because I literally have one saved in my gallery. So maybe I'll do that. But yeah, definitely recommend doing that if you're interested in this, in playing in this, because, that would be very frustrating. But I did the Murphy bed there, and I put a yoga mat underneath it because I thought, that makes sense, because it'll still fully function. The yoga mat won't get in the way. And then when the Murphy bed is put up, the yoga mat is functional. They can do their yoga there. I just thought, that works perfectly. I'm just adding some more clutter into the kitchen. I honestly should have put a coffee pot instead of a microwave, but I really liked how the microwave looked there. I used the Dream Home Decorator cabinet. And honestly, this orientation with that like taller wall cabinet, leaving like just a small gap for that microwave. Oh, I loved that. But yeah, that's really it, honestly. Nothing too crazy left of the build. I hope y'all enjoyed this. Do let me know if you did. And yeah, if you got to this part of the video, why don't you comment sports ball? Why not? Or, you can comment sports ball, or you could comment your favorite sport. I don't know. We'll see if anybody's into sports. It can be Quidditch if that's your game, because yeah, sure, why not? But yeah, I hope y'all liked it. I really, really did. And honestly, I'm gonna go make some Sims for this build, I think, because it's just asking for me to at this point. I can see some, gay athletes that are just adventurous, that just want to live a different kind of way, living here and just doing their thing. And yeah. But anyways, I hope y'all enjoyed it. Do let me know in the comments. And that is everything. Thank you all so very much for watching. Stay weird, and I will speak to you all next time. Stay magical. Is that good? Is that a good outro? Stay magical. I'll try that. Okay, bye.